Hello gamers, welcome to another edition of Tonight at Mage Hammer's Game Table, where tonight I am exploring my new game, Gravity Drives and Dangers, a space opera role-playing game. I'm going to be creating 4 characters in this video for an upcoming solo campaign session. So I guess you could call this a session 0, but I'm not going to give any background on, well, maybe a teeny bit of background on the campaign, whatever that may end up being. I'm gonna make some characters. Now, to decide on making characters, I have 3 different kind of campaign styles that I am thinking about doing, but I don't know which one I want to do. And even if I did know which one I want to do, I think it's kind of more fun at this point to go random. So, Galaxy Force is the campaign world. That's kind of my default campaign setting. Anytime I run a sci-fi game in any system, I end up running Galaxy Force, which is based as a combination of the old Star Drive setting for the alternative science fiction role-playing game and Star Frontiers Star Law for the Star Frontiers system. So I kind of took some tropes and some stuff, the ideas from those two campaigns and mixed them together. Great. Galaxy Force, I do have several videos that take place in the Galaxy Force universe. You can go check those out under my Tiny Frontiers especially, and also Amazing Adventures. So my solo campaigns in those, you can go check that out. Galaxy Explorer. It's basically Star Trek. So in my setting, in the Galaxy Force setting, there is a branch of the Galaxy Force that is focused entirely on exploring parts of the galaxy that have not necessarily been documented or whatever. Or also the Galaxy Explorers also sometimes take medicines or stuff that other planets need to them, especially ones that are not aligned with the Galaxy Force. So anyway, so that's kind of be more of a Star Trek-y kind of thing. And then Space Rogues, it's kind of like maybe like Star Wars-y, maybe Firefly-y, kind of a combination of those two things. I pretty much can set it in my Galaxy setting, but at the same time, it doesn't necessarily need to be in there. I might do something completely different if this comes up. But this is kind of more my Star Wars / Firefly-y kind of campaign. So that will dictate what kind of characters I make for the game. So I'm going to roll a d6, 1, 2 Galaxy Force, 3, 4 Galaxy Explorer, 5, 6 Space Rogues, to see what kind of characters I'm going to be making in this video. And it's going to be a Galaxy Explorer, so it's going to be kind of a play on Star Trek, but not Star Trek, of course. Something like it, inspired by it, homage to it. So Gravity Drives and Dangers, you create characters very similarly to my other 2 games, Delves and Dangers and Daring and Dangers. And I have my new updated character sheet here. And so, I mean, pretty much, the ship that they're going to be on for Galaxy Explorer, it has a crew, but not a crew the size of, let's say, a Star Trek Explorer, Star Trek starship. Probably a little bit smaller, pared down. I'm only going to make the name characters, but there'll be, of course, some other characters on the ship. But like I think like the Enterprise had 500, Enterprise 1701D had like 500 people on it. It's not going to be that big. It's more of about maybe 50 if that. Anyway, but of the name characters, the bridge crew, you know, the officer thing, you know how Star Trek works. So that's pretty much what I'm going to do. Gotta have a pointy-eared alien on the ship, right? So that's what the Eld are. The Eld are. I don't want to get a copyright strike. I have to really separate those 2 words. Anyway, so they're humanoids averaging 5 feet in height with thin features and pointed ears, and they have exceptional senses and sharp minds. So every character in Gravity Drives and Dangers has strength, agility, and mind. And each attribute starts with a base of 2, and then you add the kindred attribute bonus. So they have, it's going to start with a 2 strength, 2 agility, and a 4 mind. Okay. So that's the attributes for the kindred. I'm choosing the kindred Eld. Of course, I'm going to start them level 1. This is going to be a new ship that's starting out in this next phase of exploration. It just came out of the academy. You know, though, that's interesting. Maybe I'll make the captain of the ship more experienced. Maybe I'll make them like 3rd or 4th level, but the rest of the team is going to be like cadets. That's exciting. Let's do that. So then next up under the Eld, +1 to perception, kindred skills. That goes under that. Anything that has skill roll after that is a skill. So they have perception. They have a bonus to perception skill rolls. So we'll add that here. And then movement 30 feet, that's recorded up here. Since it's kind of a Star Trek-y thing, there will be no armor. I mean, they never really wear armor on that show, so. Kindred abilities, the Eld have basically just +2 mind and move 30, so I already baked them in, but if it makes you feel better, I'll write them down here. +2 mind and 30-foot move. Other kindreds have stuff that would go in that spot. Profession, abilities, and gear. All right, so let's choose a profession. So we'll make the Eld the science officer, okay? So what I think works best for science officers is the scholar profession. So we're going to make him a scholar. I mean, they're all galaxy, I guess they're called the Galaxy Explorers, the Galaxy Fleet, because they go out and do other things. Yeah. So yeah, making this up as I go along, which is one of the fun things about solo gaming. So the scholar can choose 2 specific areas of knowledge, and they get a +1 to each one of those. And then of course that improves as they go up and level up to every level, evenly divisible by 3. And they also have the well-read ability. They can reroll 1 failed die result when making knowledge and research skill rolls pertaining to the 2 areas of discipline chosen above, and their resistance proficiency is mind. So first level characters start with a +1 proficiency bonus that gets added to things they're skilled at, and also can get added to things they might be skilled at that the danger director, which is the game master in this game, takes into account that may bake in because of their kindred or because of their profession, and also is added to professional skills to indicate that 1 extra level of training that people would get in their profession. So they had a mind proficiency, so we add 1 to the resistance over here. 2. Now languages. So they speak Eld, and then the language in my default settings, you can call this language whatever you want and whatever fits your setting, Galactic. Then they get another set of languages up to their mind score. Now, I am going to hold off on that till I get the character more fleshed out before I come back to that. Weapon proficiencies, no matter what the profession is, with the exception of warrior, they're proficient in all weapons. Any other profession can choose 2 weapons to be proficient in, which means they add their proficiency bonus to it. So all Galaxy Fleet people are trained with blasters, we'll call them. Why not? And then another weapon. So since he's an Eld, we'll say that Elds are really good with like these energy swords, or they're, well, not energy swords. Yeah. Well, we can go, we'll go energy sword. So we'll put energy sword, which is an energy weapon. Both of these are energy weapons. And he spends, she or he, 1, 2, 3, he, 4, 5, 6, she. She is a female. She spends a lot of time training with that energy sword, so she is proficient with it. So then we move on to, let's choose the 2 areas. Now I know I'll say that she is good at, we'll say astrophysics. That makes sense, right? So we're going to choose astrophysics. So her profession skills are going to be astrophysics. And then also xenobiology. How's that sound? Okay. So to fill those in, we're going to fill in her dice pool here. Because anytime you roll any kind of attribute roll, including skills, You take a number of die, you build a dice pool using their attribute, and in this case, profession skills, their proficiency bonus, and any gear they have, their professional skills, and their kindred bonus, if applicable. And all of those are, the abbreviations are explained down here at the bottom of the character sheet. So astrophysics, I would say, uses mind, and that's up to the danger director and the player to determine which attribute best suits the skill. So astrophysics for sure. So their attribute is mind. Her attribute is mind. She gets her proficiency bonus. As of right now, there's no gear. If she ends up getting some kind of gear, scanner, or whatever, we could add that bonus here as well. Her profession skill is, according to her profession, she gets one extra die into the pool based on this. And for astrophysics, she has no necessary kindred bonus, so this is an additional 1. Xenobiology, pretty much the same thing. So that gives us a total of 6 dice when they make any kind of check or roll or test. You can use whatever terminology you want. I use roll because it's more generic, but you can use whatever you want. So 6 dice here, 6 dice here for the profession skills. So I think, and then I'm going to put well-read ability here. That reroll, and we'll explain it as we go. We'll call it well read, and then and just kind of explain it. Reroll, reroll rolls pertaining to areas of knowledge. 2 areas of knowledge. All right, cool. So that's just a kind of a reminder. Then, yeah. So next up is, I already had the proficiency bonus listed. Got the 2 weapons in the proficiency section. Resistances, already got the resistance in place because it's modified by the profession. And then languages, like I said, I'm going to come back to this. So secondary skills. I prefer to have secondary skills for all my characters. It really fleshes them out, especially in a like science fiction, even a pulp game like my Daring and Dangerous, because as time is, as you move away from the fantasy genre, people are have a lot more areas of knowledge than normal. So I think what we'll add here, we'll say that not only are they really an expert in astrophysics and xenobiology, but they're also good at chemistry, right? They are. She is good at. We'll say she plays let's say she plays a form of chess, but she's really good at it. She's like, I'm like a grandmaster, so we'll add that there too. We'll call it galaxy chess. I know that's not really original, but it's off the top of my head. And you get a number of secondary skills up to your mind score. I mean, it's optional. You don't have to. She could just stop there, or she could add 2 more. But if she only had a 2 mind, then she'd only have 2 and she'd be done. I would say we're going to give her piloting too. I think she's been around starships enough that she has some proficiency in piloting. And then now, one option is you could kind of keep it open, and as play would inform what that would be. Like the player's playing and is like, oh, maybe I'm good at this. Oh yeah, well you got a slot. Go ahead and put it in. Yeah, I agree. Danger director says, But I think right now I'm gonna choose them all. Chemistry, galaxy chess, piloting. And I'll say she's also good at martial arts. Not to the extent of like an adept, which I have adepts as one of my professions. They're really good at doing what they need to do. But she has some martial arts training. So the attribute for chemistry, I would say, is mind. The attribute for galaxy chess is mind. Piloting, we're going to go agility. And martial arts, we're going to go strength or agility, so that's going to be a 2. Profession bonus, or proficiency bonus is 1, and kindred bonus. She doesn't really have a kindred bonus to any of these, but she does have a proficiency bonus for each. So that's 5D when she makes any checks for chemistry, 5D when playing galaxy chess, 3D when piloting, and 3D added to unarmed attacks. Because that's what martial arts specializes in. I'm not going to give her any cybernetics. We're going to say the Eld abhor cybernetics. They don't like them. And cybernetics is optional anyway. So combat weapons already pretty much handled. Okay, a word about weapons. I had a question on itch.io from a from someone, and they asked, they said, oh, your weapon type table is like the one from Delves and Dangers. Well, it's actually from Daring and Danger, and I explained this, and they're very gracious about it, and I'm glad I got to clear it up for them. But it has, you know, some archaic kind of weapons, because science fiction runs the gamut from, like, you know, primitive cultures to semi-advanced cultures, all the way up into the you know, science fiction. There's my dog. If you've listened to my videos over the years, I'm sure you've heard her. Marls Barkley. She's well named. So anyway, so yes, there's still some archaic weapons on the weapon table because they exist. But let's say, you know, to specify them, I have the energy weapons thing right up here. Energy weapons add an additional plus 3d to and making an energy attack. So let's say you wanted a, I don't know, a crossbow that shoots bolts, and so you're like, it's a heavy crossbow. So a heavy crossbow naturally gets a plus 3d, but then if you add the energy onto it, make it into an energy crossbow, this would be plus 6 dice weapon bonus, which is, you know, pretty good. But weapons have greatly increased since the archaic times of, you know, primitive all the way up into the 20th and 21st century. So there you go. That's what I'm doing there. So these kind of things, I kind of kept it as just to kind of give more examples of what weapons, and then you decide what, you know, your campaign can include these kind of weapons or energy weapons. I also have some very specialized weapons, like this flamer here. It's an energy weapon. It shoots out fire. And I feel like a piston fist, you know, which is kind of like, is an energy weapon and adds energy to it. But just to kind of, I also have stun stuff. We'll talk about that. Stun ray gun. The Star Blade. You can't have a science fiction game without a sword that has an energy blade, right? So Star Blade. So I do have some examples as slash you know, weapons in my text section and my devices for you to at least make your own or choose those and get an idea for how that works. All right, so it's not going to do cybernetics. I am going to give her side powers, though. I'm using a optional untrained psionics because I have a profession called Thoughtcaster, and they're really good at honing and using psi powers. But of course, there are psi people, psionics out there that are not honing and training, and they just kind of grow up and they have these abilities and they kind of home grow, learn to use them. And so I thought this is a pretty good system to do that. And for this particular character, and I'm not going to say all elves are telepathic. That's up to you in your campaign. In my campaign, I'm going to say they're not all telepathic, but some of them are psionic. To do this, non-thoughtcaster characters may have a number of psi powers up to their mind attributes. So she can have 4 psi powers, which is pretty good. I may not give her that many, but I might. And then they have PowerPoints. PowerPoints power the psi powers, and you know that basically is an abstract for the exhaustion that it would take to run those kind of powers. And then they have to use concentration rolls to actually be able to use them and manifest those abilities. So to make a concentration roll use psi powers, they use their mind attribute 4 plus their level 1 as their concentration pool. So attribute mind, they don't get the proficiency bonus because they don't have the training in it, and she doesn't have any exceptional profession skills. So, and she gets plus her mind attribute, plus level. So this was going to go here. So she has 5 dice when using her psionic or psi powers. And I think I'm just going to give her 2 telepathy, right? Which is uses 3 power points, and she has to roll a DL3 to use it properly, to concentrate and use it properly. If not, of concentration, yeah, doesn't work. And then I also kind of want to give her, I don't know, let's say somewhere where your hand comes down and touches, let's say, a nerve, and then like you collapse. So I think I'm going to use my psi power paralyze to indicate that. which takes 3 power points as well and goes against the mind resistance of the thing. But I think I might modify it a little bit and say it's the strength resistance, right? Because it's a physical attack technically, but yeah, I don't know. I'll have to play around with that. But I think it's flexible enough that you could do that and do what you need to do. For now, we'll keep it that. So, and she could have 2 more powers, but I don't think she needs any more. I don't think that fits the character. I think that for her, she has just 2. She could have 4, but I'm going to give her 2. She has her concentration total. Her power points now are equal to her mind attribute plus level. So she has 5 power points. So she could use one of these abilities, and then she'd have to, and then power points recharge every 2 hours to be able to get them back, which is detailed before this. All right. The starship we'll get to in a minute once I get the entire thing done. All right, so let's stat up her weapons. So the blaster, just like Galaxy Force, all Galaxy Explorers, they know how to use blasters or train with blasters. So attribute was going to be agility. Proficiency bonus is 1. Profession skill. She doesn't have any profession skill. I mean, I just said she was trained for that, but as a scholar, she doesn't have extra training in that. Weapon type. Now, blaster is a pistol. So in this case, so it's a pistol, so that is a base plus 2, and then you add energy on top of it, so that's weapon type plus 5. She doesn't get a kindred bonus for using a blaster, so that's going to bring us to 8 dice when she attacks with her blaster. Then with the energy sword that she keeps in her quarters mostly, and if she goes on a mission in which she's away on a planet, she can bring it with her usually. The captain would probably allow that. So that's going to be this proficiency bonus. And you know what? Because her Eld, because I said that she grew up with it, you know what? I'm going to give her a kindred bonus on that too. Weapon type. So it's an energy sword, so it's a medium weapon, and add energy to it, so that's 5. And I'm going to give her an extra 1 because I think her particular faction of the Eld train with these energy swords. I mean, you can do stuff like that. So that's going to be 90 when she attacks with her energy sword. 9 dice rolled. All right. Tech and gear. We're going to give her a scanner that she can take with her when she goes down to the planet. Scanner in the tech here adds a... it doesn't really add any bonuses. It just tells you that within a square mile, you can detect life signs, radiation elements, and other aspects of the environment. If a danger director thinks it's appropriate, she can allow the scanner to add an additional bonus to any of these xenobiology or astrophysics stuff. If they're on the ship, I would give a bonus using the computer on the ship. I'm going to give her a wrist computer. Or this could also be, you know, the computer that she uses on a ship. That does give plus 2D to computer rolls, things that specifically have to do with computers, hacking computers, trying to get in computers, enhancing computers, doing searches with computers, anything with computers. That's in here as well. Wrist computer. Then, of course, she has a blaster and energy sword, so I don't necessarily need to put her tech and gear. I got it here under weapons. Don't need to repeat that. Man, Marles Barkley's going nuts. And I think that's it for her as our science crew person. Let's give her, I'll say she likes to fight Lotharians, spar with them. So she's going to take Lotharian, learn their language. She also, she's fond of Hobbins. Many Hobbin traders used to come to her planet when she was growing up. It doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, the kindred. It could be anything, but this is just the easiest way to figure it out. We'll also say that she worked with many Slytherin scientists and engineers over her course of her training. So she picked up some Slytherin, and she can get 1 more. And we're going to say sign language. Galactic sign language. How's that? All right. So now it's just to name her. Let's go with Lethella Dechan. Lethella Dechan. Stamina is 12 plus strength resistance, so she starts with 14 stamina. Think I got it all. Okay, there you go. All right, let's take a look at our next character. And you know what? If this video ends up going a little long, maybe I'll just create 2 characters and I'll finish off the other 2 off screen. I think you're pretty much getting an idea of how the character creation goes. But I'll create 1 more. Let's do the captain. I think I am going to make the captain 4th level. At least 4th level to run your own ship, I'd say. And even if, if you're kind of a James T. Kirk person, they got, the youngest captain, at that point, youngest captain ever captain a ship. Yeah, okay, fine. Kindred. Don't know if I want to go human on this. You know what would be fun? I think a Drandar captain. Drandars are humanoids averaging 4 feet in height with thick beards, and they tend to be tough and gruff. So we'll say it's Drandar, which, of course, space dwarves. Okay, so they have base are all 2, so strength 3, and then agility and mind resistance are 2 each. And that's for the attributes. Proficiency bonus. Now, proficiency bonus doesn't go up till 5th level, so proficiency bonus is still 1 for his thing here. See, 5th level goes up to 2, but for now it's 1. Now, profession. Now, there's no necessarily profession captain, but of course, like Picard was kind of an archaeologist before he was a captain. Janeway was a, well, she was an engineer, right? Or science. I can't remember what specialty was, but yes. But anyway, they're all something before they become captain of a ship. So I think for him, we're going to go explorer. I think that fits my vision right now. So he's an explorer, and he speaks Galactic and Drandar, or Drandarian, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Then, so the resistance on an explorer is agility. So agility resistance 3. Okay. And then weapon proficiencies, they're all trained in blasters. And Drandar get a +1 with melee weapons of any kind. So he has a really cool, we'll call it a power hammer. Yeah, okay, so he's proficient in that. So kindred abilities, we've already got them down, so we'll say +1 strength. +1d with melee weapons. And then skill rolls, +1d to geology and mining skills. Mining skills. All right, and then 25-foot movement. 25-foot move. Dark vision. 60 feet. They grow up inside underneath the planets, and then we're going to move on to, I'm going to say no armor because he's a captain of the ship. Strength resistance +12, 15 stamina. But he's gone up 3 levels, and you get a D3 stamina each time you go up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, so 19 total stamina. All right. Then moving on to the profession. Explorer. So their profession abilities. Weapon training ability is basically weapon training skill. So that may actually be a typo, darn it. Tried to avoid those as much as I could in my editing, but anyway, it's as long as it is short. Obviously, if it adds dice, it's a skill roll. Darn it. Anyway, but since, explorers had to learn how to use weapons when they go into dangerous areas, they're not as adept at weapon training as, say, a warrior or a soldier. So they are by 4, but that still gives him an additional +1. So we're going to do profession skills, wilderness, and weapon training. So the weapon training skill I will put down here when I do the weapons. I'll make a note of it here. And he's up to +2 dice because it's evenly divisible by 4. For wilderness expert skill, we're going to go mind. Proficiency bonus is 1, and sometimes maybe there might be gear that helps him. Profession skill, he gets a +1 to tracking. Oh, and survival. Oops. Tracking, survival. All right, and then I get an additional +1 for that, but they are actually +2 because they've gone past their level. So 4, 5 dice total when they are doing some tracking, 5 dice total when they're looking for survival on a planet. All right, so moving on to secondary skills. I say he has a good grasp of geology, not necessarily mining, so we'll add not only his proficiency bonus, but now also, because that's what secondary skills do, they allow people to add their proficiency bonus. But he also gets a kindred bonus, so we'll be adding that as well. So we'll go mind, 2, proficiency bonus is now 1, and then kindred bonus is an additional 1, so 2. So 4 dice when making geology rolls. I like the idea of diplomacy. So that's going to be mind as well. And gets the proficiency bonus. And that makes 3D when trying to make diplomacy rolls, whatever that shape that takes in your campaign. That's 2 mind, so that's the 2 extra that he gets as a captain. No cybernetics for the Drandar. Not that they abort, I just don't think he needs it right now. All right, let's... I'm not going to give him psi powers. And I am going to give him... So he's going to speak... All right, so I have I have some ideas for big bads in my campaign setting, but I don't really have them all fleshed out. So I'm going to put alien tongue. So if he comes if I come up with the big bad, that's just a placeholder. And he only gets 1 extra language anyway, so I'm going to make that Lotharian, because he's had a lot of interactions with Lotharians, and he likes them because they are great warriors. Natural warriors. All right, so his weapon, we're going to give him a blaster. That's agility. His proficiency bonus is 1. His profession skill, he doesn't get any profession skill with that. The weapon type is 5D. It's 5, as we have already noted. He does not get a kindred bonus with this either. So that's 7, 8, 8D. Then his power hammer. We're going to go strength. So that's a 3. Proficiency bonus, yes, because he is proficient in it. Profession skill, no. Weapon type, yeah, warhammers or hammers are 2 weapon, I believe. I can't believe I don't have Warhammer in here. It's like one of my favorite things in the world. I'd have a regular hammer here, but I think a Warhammer is a little bit more. So I'm going to make it a medium weapon, energy, 5D. But that's an example, right? You take these, you look at these as sample weapons, and you say, you know what? Okay, I think it's a +1, 2, or 3 when attacking. And then he also gets a kindred bonus because they get +1 to melee weapons. So 8, 9, 10 dice when attacking with his power hammer. Okay, so language is done. Here, no cybernetics, secondary skills, no kindred. And then I just name him. Let's go with... Poldath, Rock Hammer. Poldath Rockhammer, and he's going to be the captain. I'm going to put this over here. I'm saying he's a he, but we'll see if she's a she. 1, 2, 3 he, 4, 5, 6 she. She's a she, so we have 2 females so far. All right. Pulled out Rockhammer. She is... Yes, so those are the 2 characters. I'm going to make the 2 other characters off screen. I think I have given you a really good idea of how to put together characters and how the whole system works together in character creation. I hope that was clear to you. If you have any questions, put in the comments below and let me know what you think about these characters. If you have any suggestions for characters, throw them down in the comments below. I may have already created them by then, but maybe I didn't get to it. And then the next episode, I'm going to jump right into the first episode of the solo session I'm going to do. So thank you so much for watching. Listen, thank you. All of you that have downloaded Gravity Drives and Rangers, thank you so much for continuing to support me. I want to put a huge shout out to Tabletop Wanderer. He did his one-shot, it's like first look series. He kind of combined them together into a video. I'm going to link that in the description below, where he kind of goes over and gets his thoughts on it. And yes, these folks are going to be in a starship. You'll be able to see the starship stuff go. So I'm beyond humbled, beyond thrilled, beyond happy. I'm proud of my game. I'm proud of the community that we've all started to build together in this little niche of YouTube. And I just want to thank all of you for everything. I want to thank my members. Holy moly, my members. When I started membership, I'm like, I might get a guy or 2. But some of you really, thank you so much, members. Todd, Surf Monkey, Tabletop Wanderer, and I always forget Jamie, oh my gosh, I didn't forget him this time. I have 4 members right now, and I am thrilled beyond belief that you guys find enough fun in my stuff to help continue me being able to do this stuff. So thank you so much for everyone. Thank you so much for everything, and I can't wait for you to see this go into my first solo session, and actually I'm very excited about it. So thank you for watching. Come back for next video, and I'll see you then. Till next time, keep on rolling dice and playing games. Magehammer out.